DRX. I'm not that much of a DRX enjoyer.
The way Kingdom goes in the world.
Right now, Gen.G holds a 12-game win streak.
To me, they just don't have anything that's special about them.
Gumayushi is dead.
Gen.G have kind of dominated DRX all year.
They have been doubted. They have been discounted. They have been dismissed.
When no one thought you would beat Gen.G and no one thought you would even make it to Worlds, no one thought you would do anything.
But DRX are your 2022 World Champions.
DRX has just completed what is arguably one of the greatest underdog stories of all time. Welcome back to the Gold Advantage on the Bo3 Network, where we're going to recap the World Finals and what is arguably the greatest World Championships we've had so far in League of Legends. I'm your host, Nikita, and with me, as always, are Scoot and BNB. How are you guys doing?
Dude, to be honest, still doesn't feel real. This is... when I think of incredible esports stories, I think of two things, and it's one that I reference a lot, which is obviously Cloud9 Boston Major 2018, and then you add in DRX 2022 Worlds, and I'm weighing kind of which one is more incredible. One of the craziest finals too, extremely entertaining, even if it was messy at times. It's like hard to really reflect on anything because I'm so fucking mind blown.
Well,
so
what I can say is I knew it the whole entire time. Was just waiting for it to get to the finals. No, I mean, I stayed up late to watch it. I was not disappointed. A part of me gets emotional thinking about it because I just can't understand. My brain can't comprehend how it happened. And I told you this. Whoever wins the first game, fade them, because the past 3 matches now, team to win the first game ended up losing the series. DRX was already delicious value after game 1. I didn't even look at the odds.
The value shot up.
Banked. That first game, I was just like, damn. Scoot said in our Discord, T1 3-0. After game 1, I was like, shit, he's right.
Well, the Korean casters were like, oh, it's going to be a 3-0.
They had it. DRX had not beaten T1 once this year. Not once.
I don't even think they had a gold lead.
Kind of settled.
They did. The last time they played, they actually did. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Scoot.
As time settled, I was like, okay, you reflect on how T1 beat JDG, and you're just like, okay, I don't think anyone can beat this team. And that's why I said that. Obviously, I also said, plot armor is a crazy thing.
It is.
And
we were scared of it.
But the plots were there for both teams. That's the craziest part.
No, it is way stronger.
There's way stronger. The T1 plot is more around Faker winning his 4th title, which is not that strong of a plot. Whereas this,
kind of strong.
A team that has never, no team has reached the finals from play-ins. It's a team that's never won against them. They barely scraped into Worlds. No one expected them to come out of groups at #1. I was predicting
Def's
RNG.
Never been past quarterfinals.
One of the first reverse sweeps in World's history, beating the #1 seed of their region, which everyone was like, T1 has 1 story. On the flip side, they have 6.
But you also add in just the individual map of the inhibitor respawning.
Oh yeah.
As Deft is about to finish off the Nexus, and then you realize that they regained from that to reverse sweep, and then they beat Gen.G, and then
after being dominated game 1. But then also this is the thing, they had 5 objectives stolen from. So 2 dragons and 3 barons, or 3 dragons and 2 barons. And
it was for sure 3 barons. I think it was
okay.
More
then it's
than 5.
It's 2 dragons,
sure
2
it
dragons,
wasn't
and
more?
3 barons. No, it's 5.
The dragons were earlier on. The Barons were game 3 and 4, and then they were so scared by game 5 that they wouldn't even go for Baron.
But they did, and then it got stolen again. And it's not even Oner's jumping in doing it. It's Guma's piercing arrow, and it's what is going on here? And it just reminds me of the inhibitor. I'm like, how is this happening? I can't believe it. Mentally, these guys must be broken. It's over. That to me is the big thing about DRX T1. T1 played an incredible macro game. They played so well, especially games 1 and 3. And they were playing almost okay, we've won, roll over and die. And DRX was just no, we're just not gonna, we don't care. You stole the Baron? Who gives a shit? You caught us?
The best point.
Don't care. You're smashing us early game 4 off a crushing throw in game 3. Series is over now. That's it.
Yeah,
and they're losing game 1.
Kingan's
I was saying it in Discord. Kingan just goes, nah, I'm gonna hard carry now. Give me fucking Aatrox. I'm gonna smash you. Oh, #1 top laner, Zeus? Please Please, let me solo kill him.
Dude, I mean, I'm dumbfounded by just everything that happened in that series. And, like, the great thing, too, is that I got to watch it with my roommate, and he's, like, sitting next to me, doesn't know League that well, and, like, even he knew what was going on, was absolutely nuts. Like, opening ceremony was crazy enough, and then you get a 5-map series, crazy pick bans, map
Awesome.
5, and just, like, and of course my roommate's like, oh, that's Caitlyn from Arcade. Yeah. Like, yeah, okay, yes, but you don't understand that in Worlds, she's been so fucking
But she
OP.
didn't even.
I think we've seen it
wasn't
once.
even that much. I didn't think she had that big of an impact even in the game 5. I was actually surprised.
Ooh, I don't know, the
No,
chunk.
she-
The chunk was like he was because Deft was targeting Faker like
Correct.
before they would fight,
Yeah.
and he would take off pretty much half of his health bar every
For the
time,
last 5
and it was
minutes.
ridiculous.
But I think
It's
you need to take it
also
game by
actually about
game.
the.
I
It's
think-
also about the traps. It creates like a wall of
Yeah.
traps, which makes it really hard to push into any objective.
I think we need to take it game by game. I mean, game 1 was there were so many emotional swings, not just in the series, in a given game. It felt like T1 was always up early,
Yeah.
and then DRX would kind of come back, and you're like, okay,
Game 1, I didn't feel like.
no,
I
not
think,
game 1. Sorry, game 1 was just
it
game 1
was
is total
very-
domination.
It was. And you saw it. You know, like you got Zeus on Yone. I didn't love the lead pick on Oner. Zero on Faker. Guma got Varus. And Varus was like so contested the whole way through. So I'm like, okay, we can see this. And like you said, 15-5. So very, very
Yeah,
long.
but it wasn't even that. It was they had 5 inhibitors. They had 2 Barons. They had 4 dragons. Like the game was lasted longer than it should have. It felt like. It was
Yes.
just like they were like, it was like, okay, you're being methodical. You're just making sure there's like no stone unturned, but like wiped them off the field.
Whereas game 2, that's where it went back and forth because it went at one point. I think like DRX was up.
Well, T1 has
3,000.
Aatrox.
Yeah, they have Aatrox. They have Graves.
They have Lux and
yep.
Ashe.
Also, and that was a game actually where they had little damage because the Lux wasn't building, was behind, Faker was behind, but they held on, and then you suddenly had this moment where Faker got his items. Oh, you're doing fucking damage
as Victor.
now.
And look, I've been on this soapbox for a minute about Faker being overrated, not being good anymore, and I'm not gonna sit here and just crush him on a day where he didn't perform. But where I will go on this is, it felt like, or any given game, except for game 1, the team fighting from DRX was just a cut above T1's team fighting. Felt like DRX should have won 3-1, and the only reason T1 kind of was able to keep staying around in it is because they kept stealing those objectives. They kept stealing Baron. They kept stealing Dragon.
Because DRX kept throwing. Pyosik couldn't hit it, Smite.
You punish mistakes.
Couldn't hit it, Smite.
Yeah.
I feel like a T1 had such great macro, but you know, I will jump on Faker a little bit. I feel like he got gapped. And I'm not, this is not, I think across, and I actually feel like T1 as a team underperformed. Faker throughout Worlds has been performing really well. The series before against JDG, against Yagao, he completely neutralized him. So this isn't Faker is slumping. You don't get to these many finals. You don't reach finals of LCK if you're a bad player. He is good. But Zeka was just on another level.
But they were picking on him.
They were
picking on him. Pyosik would come in and help Zeka.
But the other way around as well. Oner was trying to get Zeka, and he did. And they would get first blood on him and so on. But it never was enough to count him out, and he knew how to make the plays to get in. He was always having a CS advantage, and that was crazy. But then, you know, I look across the board, and actually there's 2 other players that stand out, and one is going to be Zeus. I'll open this by saying he's a phenomenal player. He is a top 3 top laner. But for everyone, we had more comments about him than anyone else, and like roasting me for saying that he's not the best. And yet,
so much
who
hate.
has been solo killed? Like, everyone's like, he didn't get multiple solo killed. Like, okay, fine, he got solo killed once, and then he got solo killed in the grand finals. But which other top laner has that happened to? And they're not.
Yeah.
It's not happening to them. And he's an incredibly hard worker. He's incredibly talented. So, like, I'm not disputing that. But if you're going to be the best top laner in the world, you're not making those mistakes. And he himself said
You
it.
gotta take your medicine too.
He said
like,
it.
I think you.
He said, I made
think
too
you
many
picked Oner
mistakes in the
map
mid to
5.
late game.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's the
Like-
thing, and you saw it whenever he played against 369 Breathe or against King and Now. He would do things where in the previous series he would make mistakes, he'd get solo killed, or he'd get focused and he'd be behind, and his team would be ahead enough and would be able to compensate for that they win. And that's what matters. But the problem is when you're matching up against someone who can clap back and the rest of your lanes are not winning, this is what happens.
Part of me also thinks that he didn't expect Kingen to clap back
No.
as hard as he did. And like Kingen, that's probably the best series that I've seen Kingen play all in all,
yeah.
like across the board. Obviously MVP, so that goes without
Yeah,
saying.
Going out on
you know
a
what?
limb
He's already
there.
Yeah, he's already gassed up enough by like.
I think this
even
guy
the
might
event
be good,
itself.
guys.
So
you
like
know,
I don't
know.
Yeah, I don't need to sit here and harp on it too much, but like
It's the best I've seen him play.
throughout Worlds, I think he scaled like over and over,
Yeah.
over himself, and just kept leveling up into, I would say,
Well, I think it's a really
the perfect matchup to where like he had a chance to, I don't know, against Gen.G it was like, okay, Gen.G's
No, he did really well against, but Doran was bad.
He did.
But
they were
I think
throwing
Zeus, when you look at
so
Zeus
bad.
in the draft, I said he drafted a bit arrogantly against JDG, and I was like, oh, I feel like he was pressure. I felt like he lost lane a little bit and was getting put on the back foot, and people were like, no, he's the best.
Yeah.
He's
Two
great.
things.
But
Two things.
Go.
Number one, we knew that this meta was going to be favoring the top lane. So it's a phenomenal World Championships for us to be able to have a very unique perspective into who is the best top laner, right? And so, unquestionably, I think right now, Kingen has to he's the king. I will say, for those who are going to clap back and say Zeus, yada, 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 to me, it's a team issue, which is like, how do you let him have Aatrox not once, but twice?
Yeah.
Well, it was a drafting issue. And
That's
I
what
think,
I'm saying. It's a team drafting issue.
Benji was...
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But like, you're giving someone who you know is talented. Zeus is coming back with a Fiora and
Gwen map 5 doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
My
doesn't
problem
make
with it
sense.
is like,
And so-
he mauled you map 4 on Aatrox, so why do you let him play a map 5?
Exactly.
That seems like the obvious
if you're not
answer
going to
there.
ban it, you
Benki
Gwen-
talked about it post-game interview. He was talking about how he really feels he let the team down with drafting, leaving the Aatrox up, first picking Karma, letting them get Caitlyn in game 5. And I gotta say, like, there's that, and there's also that game 4 where T1 drafted like a full skill-based
Steamroll.
matchup. And it,
was a steamroll.
super entertaining. Talking about this again in the Discord, little shout out there if you want that. It's in the description. That if they don't get ahead on this, you don't get the Faker Accolade, you don't get the Fiora going. This is a bad pick, and they lost it. And I was like, this wasn't a good draft. This was a game 1 draft. Come out game 1 with this, and if you lose on it, fine, you brush it off and you move on. But you don't do it with the game on the line, giving them a way back in. And I love the Maokai draft on the other side. I love the Aatrox, and then the game 5, like I said, Caitlyn. And it's just one of those things where you do wonder, like, what was Bengi thinking? Zay says he knew the meta, but then he said, like, I knew how it played into Aatrox, but I made too many mid to late game accidents, is the way he termed it. And I'm like, you did. And there's one other player I kind of want to, and I don't know if you guys have looked this up, so how many kills do you think Guma got across the 5 games?
Right now, I'm looking at
Kills,
Right
I
now,
have
I'm
no
looking at
clue.
game 5.
Don't
So
just
I won't
across
look
the
at any
whole.
other ones. I won't look at any other ones.
Yeah.
Scoot, I'll tell you the information so that we were on level footing. Guma had 1 kill in game 5.
How many kills do you think he had across the whole series?
Say like 23.
Okay,
No
maybe.
chance.
Living?
No,
Living?
I would say 11.
I mean, you guys are 100%, like, not even close. He had 4. He had 4 kills across a 5-game series. And
They
I'm
kept
shocked at this.
fucking blowing him up. They kept.
Yeah, but I'm shocked at this because the guy's stealing Barons and Dragons, and it's crazy. But he actually, when you're
How did he
looking
have
at the stat line, I'm
How did he
like,
have no kills in the
wow.
first game?
I had no idea. No, but his highest kills was like 2 kills. And this is something that I think got overlooked because he managed to get so many steals, and he managed to maybe in lane they did very well, but he didn't actually get kills. And that's a major red flag when you're looking at your AD carry in a 5-game series.
But Keria was getting a lot of the kills, I think, with him. So usually your support isn't getting as many kills. I'm not taking away from your point.
Keria did have 9. Look, Keria did have 9. So even if we throw the two of them together, okay, we're at 13.
Yeah.
On the other side,
I said 11.
Deft and Beryl, by the way, are sitting on 22. So this is like there's a significant disparity there, which I
That shouldn't
didn't
happen
realize.
over 5. That shouldn't happen over 5.
That
maps.
shouldn't happen.
That's
That's
the
just
clear
like,
point here.
dude, you are. And I think when you're looking at it, Zeus was 14-13. So, and that's like, it's fine. But Kingen on the other side is 18 and 11. Faker is 15-19, so he's actually negative. Zeka is 15-11 positive. And this is where, when I'm looking at it, Oner's 12 and 13, totally fine. P06, 12-12. But this is, so you can see the junglers are basically even. You can see that the bot lane, particularly when it comes to Deft versus Guma, Deft was getting way more kills, and then top lane way more positive. And it is crazy to me, because when I look at the game, and when we were in the game, I was like, T1 is playing better. Why won't DRX just fucking die? I'm happy they didn't. I won a lot of money off of my bets. But, like, it's just like, what is going on? How are they doing this? And I loved it. It is. I just can't say enough.
Like
what a
the
great
really
series.
interesting thing for me, and it's a conversation I had in a different Discord, but like you see a lot of people and like a lot of League of Legends fans react in a way that everyone has to play perfect at all times.
Yeah.
If you watch traditional sports, and like I know a lot of people that are interested in esports, maybe it's not the most interesting thing to them as well, but finals are only different in name alone. Like, there is nothing different about that at all, except that it's a final and except that everything's on the line. Pyosik not hitting smites it's just because it's a final, in my opinion. Some of the decisions that T1 made and some of the mistakes that they made, and they played extremely shaky by comparison. Like, what? It's Keria's first now? I think Guma's first as well. So
well.
Like Zeus is.
I don't think
it's obviously fake, not Fakers, but Fakers like kind of past his prime. And then I don't think it's Oner's either. You have a lot of inexperience there, and it does scare me like moving forward to play against T1. I think this is a big tournament loss for them because now they have that experience, and I don't. It's either, this team is not a finals team or they've just needed experience and they got it now. But at the same time, like DRX clutched up and showed so much resilience across the board throughout the tournament. And for a lot of them, it was also their first final, not Barrel, obviously. That man is in 3 straight now. I think you just take Barrel and you go to the final.
It's crazy. There's kind of like
Barrel buff.
I think there's like
literally, dude, brother Barrel.
I do also think that T1 from game 4 and even game 3 to an extent, they started playing a little bit like they'd already won. And Faker talks about this,
especially after map 1.
Yeah. Map 1, they lost map 2, but then they won, and they should have lost map 3, but they came back, won it, and game 4 they started on a roll, and that draft, and I was like, oh, you're taking this is a bit of an ego draft, and where DRX seems to have never given up, and Faker gave them credit. I think it was Faker, at least in an interview. He's like, they have fought in basically 5 and 4 game series throughout the whole of Worlds.
They have come back.
They have had to learn the resilience of like the focus on the game 5. They beat Gen.G in game 4, but prior to that it was game 5, reverse sweep. Even the Gen.G one is closing out in game. So they have this like, we're gonna fight until the very end and have that focus. And Faker was like, I think we dropped the ball then. I think there's a huge credit there to that.
Even like game 5, they were up by like thousands in gold. They were up, I think, at one point 4 towers to nothing.
I know.
They were
and
up
then they throw it.
2 barons.
Yeah.
The only thing that they weren't doing is dragons, but they still had like 2 dragons. Yeah. And I think at one point it was tied 2-2.
No, they were up 3 dragons. They were up 3 dragons, and then T1 got their second one.
Right. I don't understand even in game 5 how T1 let DRX come back. T1 was like up, and I know they have like a scaling comp, so it was like one of those things where like as I was listening to the Right. And as I was listening to the casters, they were like, DRX isn't out of it. And it never felt like DRX was out of it.
DRX was never out of anything.
No, we've learned that.
Clearly.
But when you lose 2 barons and dragons are being stolen, it's like, surely now you're done.
Right. But they were getting the Rift Herald. T1 was getting the Rift Herald. They were knocking down towers. Like, they were getting first blood. And it's like, all right, this is kind of going. But it's like, you could just feel DRX. They're just there. And it's...
Yeah, in the moment. Yeah,
I still.
But it's a very
can't even wrap my head around. Like, in game 3, I know it's not always about kills, but like in game 3, DRX was winning, and then T1 kind of comes back and wins it. And so like, and I remember in our Discord we were talking about it. It was like felt like whoever was going to win, T1 winning map 3 meant a lot more than had DRX won map 3. Like, I think the confidence in our Discord chat was, if T1 would have lost, no big deal, they could have come back. But because, and especially the way that T1 won, where they stole a Baron, they screwed over DRX. They kind of blew it. It was like, there's no way DRX is coming back from this.
You're choking. DRX got caught out. They lost it.
They should have won already, and they absolutely blew it. I mean, goddamn, these guys are resilient as hell. And
so mind-blowing.
I need to go back and watch.
It's so mind-blowing, and it's also just like there's so many emotions as you watch like everyone and their reaction to like what actually just happened, because you see the entire DRX team just like so hype. And then it cuts over to Keria, and he's just having an absolute breakdown on stage. And you're torn at that point, because it's like Def just got his title, Zeka's first Worlds ever. He absolutely pops off and shows that he's, I would say, maybe the best mid laner in the world right now.
I don't see. He's literally gone through.
I don't see how he can
He's
be.
gone through,
Like-
and Chris, you posted that great screenshot of like the Grim Reaper Zeka going through the doors, and he's gone through Scout, Xiaohu, Chovy, and Faker. Like this is like the who's who. If you had to create a top 5, he has murdered all of them, and like it's not been one of those. Not in a single one of those games have I been, oh, he's really on the back foot or anything like that. It's like no, I have smashed every single one of them.
Well, the other interesting thing there is, I think we've talked about this over the last couple of years of us recording, right? Faker was so prominent and like so well known for just like he can 1v9 any game, right? In some regard, that's disappeared from League of Legends.
It has 100%. They
like a
nerfed
lot
it
more
after
team
him.
focused, right?
Yeah.
But Zeka brings a little bit of that belief
He
back.
does.
Like
He's breaking the game, and I said this. I think
he
2
is
episodes
game
ago,
breaking. Like
I think I was like the way Zeka plays, he's breaking the game, and it is.
he
picked
slightly
Achilles as his
game-breaking.
champion skin, but I almost wish you'd pick Silas because just what you were doing with him in the finals was so good.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just that this is like the greatest final that.
Yeah, the only one that can
It's the
compete
greatest
is
final of all
2016.
time. There's no
2016
doubt.
is the only one, which is T1 versus Samsung Galaxy, which was an amazing final. It was a real rivalry. 3-2 as well. But this storyline, I don't think, like you said, this is one of the special, I think this is a series with so many special storylines that will be remembered for so long.
It's one of those things that you only get in esports.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be recreated elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll happen like in an FPS game or whatever, but this is what makes me romantic about watching esports, and it's why I love it so much. And I don't know, it's been an incredible Worlds, dude. I'm like semi-emotional just even talking about it. So I don't even know.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And I think
I'm so
you know what?
disappointed
Like,
as a T1 fanboy.
I think that's
but
the perfect segue
fuck.
to just like end the episode on that. Is that it was one of the best worlds, if not the best worlds ever. It's been so much fun just throughout the whole of worlds. Even week 1, seeing EU doing well, the collapse week 2. You know,
The NA, you mean the NA Reaper?
yeah, the NA Reaper coming in, seeing just how. The teams have adapted, and it's interesting because I think a lot of people would say that LCK tournament is going to be boring, or an LCK LPL tournament is going to be boring, and yet it set world record viewership at 5.1. So people respect and just love good storylines. They love good league and good teams playing against each other, and this was a Worlds that really delivered.
Well,
I'm upset it's over. I'm so happy we had it, and I just want them to give us more of this next year. I want more international tournaments. I'm looking forward to seeing what the format changes are going to be. They said no double elim. That's a mistake in my opinion, but hopefully they can come up with something.
I also like. Go ahead, Chris.
I mean,
Closing thoughts.
all the kudos in the world, right? I think my big takeaway also is, once again, Big Money Blues picks the champion. So, I mean, is it
I'm just cutting this. I'm just
this is
gonna
a
cut
trend?
it. That's it.
Okay, all right. Well, here's
The
where I want to
the
leave
reality
it.
is we made a lot of money because while everyone was underrating, not me, but everyone else was underrating DRX from the very beginning. They went through play-ins undefeated, beating RNG.
Yeah.
They went and beat EDG. They went and beat Gen.G, and they went and beat T1. Like, this is a worthy champion, and I would be more than happy to call it the best Worlds ever, because my pocketbook agrees.
I mean, final thoughts here. Listen, 1, how can you not be romantic about esports? 2, heartbroken as a T1 fan, but so happy for DRX and all of those players. I'm gonna buy the T1 jersey from this year because I think it's sick. That was my 4th point. Like, it was pretty awesome. A little callback to SKT. And then finally, I mean, obviously viewership's increased throughout this entire tournament for us, and regardless of whether or not your comments are, hate or love or whatever, appreciate everyone for tagging along and watching the videos along the way. Like, it's meant a lot to see that support come through. And really have enjoyed engaging with everyone in the comment section, Discord, for the people who have joined. It's been a hell of a ride.
And just like as a final word to add to that, I'm so happy that I turned out I was fucking right. You were all wrong about T1. You were all wrong about Zeus, and you can all fucking suck it. All right? Yeah,
Okay,
that's
all
right,
right,
baby.
all right.
Who told me I can't be an analyst? Huh? Where's your fucking winning team?
Join our Discord. It's in the description. I think we're gonna have to give away a hoodie pretty soon. Because we did pass 100 subscribers during this
You've
time.
got to do a video. You've got to do the Polo Challenge.
Yeah.
So you said it.
Oh,
so
I know. I gotta. It's in January,
Well,
actually.
there we
It's
go.
gonna be terrible.
No, for real,
Yeah,
it
Chris
has
got the
been
hoodie.
amazing. Like, people tuning in, we really appreciate it. Discord has been incredible. And, whilst I get termed a T1 hater, I'm not And I actually fucking love this team, and they're so young and I think so talented. I want the Keria 2023 Revenge Tour. I want to see T1
he's about to
stick
go.
together,
He's about to go.
and I want
off.
them to smash everyone in 2023. Like that is
Is 2023 the perfect season that I predicted this year?
We'll see. We'll see.
Is that it?
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed Worlds. We will be doing some videos over the break, and Call of Duty is coming back. So make sure to pay attention for our sister podcast covering the CDL called Money Hill. Otherwise, we'll see you around. Thanks, and peace out. Bye, everyone.
Later.
It's fucked up. Damn it! I was trying to play Silver Scrapes, and I was trying to figure out how I could get Silver Scrapes
it's
just to
copyright.
blast right into the microphone right as I was going,
Copyrighted.
but I blew it
It's-
somehow.
I think it's
Shitty, no one
copyrighted.
needs a
so
mobile
don't
phone.
do that. Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
need that. Just say the thing. Say the thing.
Just
can't hear
end
me,
it.
can
That's
you?
it. He's not getting his toodaloo.